The introduction to the story of Solomon serves as a gateway to understanding one of the most intriguing characters in the Bible. Solomon, the son of King David and Bathsheba, is renowned for his wisdom, wealth, and building accomplishments, particularly the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem. The narrative of Solomon is found primarily in the books of 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles, where he's depicted as a king blessed by God with unparalleled wisdom, which he famously demonstrated in the judgment of two women claiming to be the mother of the same child. Solomon is also attributed as the author of several biblical books, such as Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Songs, further underlining his intellectual and spiritual significance. The story of Solomon holds a place of immense importance in biblical literature, as it exemplifies the complexities of human nature, divine wisdom, and the balance of power and responsibility. Solomon's wisdom is often seen as a gift from God, symbolizing the divine favor bestowed upon him. Through his rule, the biblical narrative explores themes of justice, governance, and faith, making his story a vital component of Judeo-Christian teachings. In contemporary times, Solomon's wisdom is often referenced in judicial contexts where fair and discerning judgments are essential. For instance, the judgment of Solomon is frequently cited in legal studies as a metaphor for wise and equitable decision-making. Additionally, Solomon's building of the temple is paralleled in modern architectural and organizational endeavors, symbolizing the effort to create spaces that honor cultural and spiritual legacies. However, Solomon's story is not without its challenges and controversies. Critics highlight his later years, where, despite his wisdom, he fell into practices that led to moral and spiritual decline, such as idolatry influenced by his many foreign wives. This aspect sparks discussions about the pitfalls of power and the risks of becoming entangled in actions that contravene one's values. Solomon's narrative also interacts with other biblical themes, such as the messianic lineage and the dichotomy between human wisdom and divine guidance, setting the stage for discussions on leadership, morality, and legacy. His story encourages believers and scholars alike to ponder the broader implications of wisdom, power, and faith in one's personal and communal life, illustrating that true wisdom encompasses humility and adherence to higher principles. Solomon remains an enduring figure whose life offers profound lessons applicable across time, culture, and faith. Solomon's ascension to the throne is a pivotal event in the biblical narrative, marking the transition of power from King David, Israel's revered leader, to his son, Solomon. This moment is not just a familial succession, but a culmination of divine promise and political maneuvering. Biblically, Solomon's rise is underlined by God's favor, as promised to David, ensuring that Solomon would succeed him. This ascent is significant as it introduces Solomon not only as a king but also as an exemplar of wisdom, wealth, and grandeur, setting the stage for the nation's golden age and influencing future concepts of leadership and governance. The importance of Solomon's ascension lies in the establishment of a united monarchy that leads to a period of peace and prosperity for Israel. It serves as a narrative fulcrum, transitioning Israel from a time of internal strife to one of stability and expansion. This reflects the broader biblical theme of divine providence and the fulfillment of God's promises. In practical terms, Solomon's ascension has inspired real-world applications in the realm of leadership and governance. For instance, Solomon's request for wisdom instead of wealth or power serves as a moral lesson for leaders, emphasizing the value of wisdom over material gains. This story is often cited in ethical leadership discussions, promoting the idea that leaders should prioritize understanding and justice. Furthermore, Solomon's reign, famous for its administrative efficiency and economic prosperity, offers a historical example of effective governance that continues to be studied in political science and history as a model of statecraft. However, Solomon's ascension is not without its controversies. His rise to power involved complex political dynamics, including the sidelining of his older brother Adonijah, raising questions about the legitimacy of his rule. Some scholars debate the historicity of Solomon's empire and the extent of its grandeur, suggesting that the biblical account might be an idealized version of events. Critics also point to Solomon's eventual turn to idolatry and the heavy taxation during his reign as factors contributing to the kingdom's division after his death. In the broader narrative of the Bible, Solomon's ascension influences the themes of wisdom and the human tendency to deviate from divine paths, echoed in later stories of Israel's kings. It also sets a precedent for the complex interplay between divine will and human agency, a recurring motif in biblical literature. Solomon's story ultimately emphasizes the potential and pitfalls of leadership, offering timeless lessons applicable across various contexts. The wisdom of Solomon is a defining characteristic of his reign, symbolizing not only his intelligence but also his deep understanding and discernment, which are frequently highlighted in biblical narratives. Described in the Bible, particularly in the books of Kings and Chronicles, Solomon famously received wisdom from God as a gift after he requested it to govern his people effectively. This divine wisdom became the hallmark of his rule, influencing his decisions and policies and ensuring peace and prosperity in the early years of his reign. Solomon's wisdom is significant because it underscores his reputation as a just and fair leader, making him one of the most revered figures in biblical history. One of the most emblematic stories illustrating his wisdom involves the two women who came to him with a baby, each claiming to be the mother. Solomon proposed to divide the baby in two, revealing the true mother through her willingness to give up her claim to save the child. This story not only highlights Solomon's cleverness but also his deep understanding of human nature. Another example is Solomon's role in the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem. His wisdom allowed him to oversee the project efficiently, utilizing the resources and labor from various regions. The temple became a central place of worship and a symbol of Israel's unity and faith, reflecting his ability to bring people together and create lasting legacies. The wisdom of Solomon has been admired throughout history, with various religious and philosophical traditions applauding the idea that true leadership requires more than mere authority; it demands insight and empathy. However, some critics argue that Solomon's wisdom did not prevent him from making missteps later in life, including amassing wealth and wives, which led to idol worship and ultimately contributed to the division of the kingdom after his death. This concept of wisdom connects to other aspects of Solomon's story, such as his writings in Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, which continue to offer moral and philosophical guidance. His wisdom not only shaped his reign, but also left a lasting imprint on biblical literature and Jewish tradition. Overall, Solomon's wisdom is integral to understanding his impact as a ruler and its broader implications on governance and moral conduct. The building of the temple in Jerusalem is a pivotal moment in the biblical story of Solomon, marking both a culmination of religious dedication and the pinnacle of ancient Israel's architectural achievement. According to the Bible, King Solomon, the son of David, was divinely chosen to build a temple, a house for God, in Jerusalem. This temple was intended as a permanent dwelling place for the Ark of the Covenant and a central site for worship and sacrifices. Its construction signaled the unity and prosperity of Solomon's reign, as well as Israel's devotion to Yahweh. The significance of the temple in relation to Solomon's story cannot be understated. It not only represented the fulfillment of God's promise to David that his son would build the house of the Lord, but also symbolized Israel's national and spiritual identity. The temple became the focal point of Jewish worship and a representation of the divine presence among the people. A real-world application can be seen in how the temple in Jerusalem remains a central symbol in Jewish identity and religious practice. Even after its destruction, the temple's influence is evident in the Western Wall, a place of pilgrimage and prayer. Additionally, Christian and Islamic traditions regard the temple's significance in their historical narratives, affecting religious dialogues and pilgrimages to this day. Opinions supporting the temple's importance often highlight its role in unifying the Israelites under one religious identity and as an architectural wonder of its time, reflecting advanced construction techniques and artistry. However, the building of the temple also invites controversies, particularly its historical veracity and the socio-political implications it carried. Some scholarly debates focus on the lack of archaeological evidence for the first temple, while others examine its role in centralizing religious practices, potentially marginalizing local traditions. This theme of the temple also interconnects with other aspects of Solomon's narrative, such as his wisdom and trade relationships. The alliances Solomon forged, some believe, facilitated the procurement of materials and skilled craftsmen essential for the temple's construction, showcasing the king's reputed wisdom and diplomatic acumen. Additionally, the temple's construction illustrates the broader theme of obedience and fulfillment of divine promises throughout the biblical text, reflecting a complex interaction between human actions and divine plans. Thus, the story of the temple not only stands as a testament to Solomon's legacy, but also as a multifaceted symbol of religious devotion, socio-political dynamics, and enduring cultural significance.